Red Rangers. They're the core frontrunners of the team. They're almost always the leader, and there are a lot of them. Every season has them. Some have 2, some have 3. So we're going to see today who, in my opinion at least, is the best Red Ranger. Okay, so straight away, we have Shane from Ninja Storm, and we have Jayden Shiba's dad, who is like Samurai Ranger number 16, 17. This isn't a question. This isn't a question. Maybe, in theory, this guy's meant to be good. I'm picking my boy Shane. Ooh, straight away, though. Second one in. We've got a tough one. Tyler from Dino Charge. All straight back to Samurai, Jayden Shiba himself. Now, ha ha ha. This could cause some problems. I prefer Dino Charge to Samurai, and that I've said openly before. Tyler or Jayden. See, this is the thing. Tyler was a great Red Ranger. He stumbled across the Energem and he really rose to the challenge and became a pretty good leader. Jayden was always born for it. So you could say that like it doesn't matter if he's good or not because he was born to be that Red Ranger anyway. Especially his storyline with Deca, and then when Lauren comes into the mix, I'm gonna have to pick Jayden Shiba. It's gotta be Jayden Shiba, or as he's known, Glorious King Jayden Shiba. Shout out. Wes from Time Force or Devon from Beast Morphers. Oh, another weird one because they're both pretty good Red Rangers. I think there's a difference though. So Wes is obviously somebody who wasn't meant to be the Red Ranger. His like great grandson was meant to be the Red Ranger. Then they go back in time and Wes becomes the Red Ranger, and he really rises to the challenge on that. Devon wasn't meant to be a Ranger in the slightest. There was no bloodline with it. His father was the mayor of the town they live in, and he accidentally became the Red Ranger, and he was a good one. However, there was that weird like video game, like he was meant to be a gamer, but they never really played into it until like times got tough, and in which case there was a few episodes where he was like, oh, but got a video game tournament, and it was that in the like crossover episode, wasn't it? He was like, enough, you say the world's going to end, but I've got a video game tournament. So I think out of Wes and Devon, it's going to have to be Wes. But I do love Devon. Jason Lee Scott, original Red Ranger, versus Bridge as the Red Ranger. That's right, yeah, we are going through the SPD Rangers. Look, man, I love Bridge as the Green Ranger. Jason Lee Scott, the original Red Ranger, is better than Bridge as the Red Ranger. He just is. It's just how it is. Oracle is the Red Alien Ranger, or Ninja Steel, but the silver accent, so it's mechanic. Had it not been for Cosmic Fury, I probably would have gone for Oracle, but he didn't do a hell of a lot in his miniseries. Delphine was very much the leader, and Caucus was like the coolest character and all that. Mechanic, I love him. And Ninja Steel, he's morphed like once and that's it, but when he comes back in Cosmic Fury, he's a real asset to the team. I'm picking Mechanic over Oracle. Why put these two up against each other? TJ, Theodore James Jarvis Johnson from Turbo, or Sky Tate, upgraded to Red Ranger. Don't see Sky as the Red Ranger a lot. We see him morph once with Jack's Morph, and then we see him right at the end in the red. I wish TJ had come up against somebody else because they probably would have won. But Sky, it's got to be Sky. I'm so sorry. TJ, I love you. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'll just do it because otherwise I'm just going to start thinking about it. Cole Evans or Leo, I think his name's Dorma, his surname, maybe I'm completely wrong. Corbett, that's it. Wild Force Red, Lost Galaxy Red. Both, I'd say, of similar stature. Well, obviously Cole starts off as like, not a caveman, but you know, he's out in the wild. He's living primitive, and he goes on the hunt to search for, or like learn about his parents, what happened to them. Leo just like accidentally became the Red Ranger, but then you could argue that like the Quasar Sabers and like the energy around them and Morphin Grid knew that Mike needed to pull the sword in order to give it to Leo. I'm gonna have to go with Cole. Just for the fact that throughout the entire show, he was having to figure out what happened with his parents, learn about everything with Master Rogue, and, you know, Leo, as far as I remember, and I could be wrong, let me know in the comments, didn't do anything so good other than rip his t-shirt off. Zato, or Brody's dad, I mean, let's not even discuss. Ooh, okay, we're already flipping back around, so we're going to build up to who is the best out of the ones we've just chosen before we move on to the other side of Rangers. Jayden Shiba or Shane, don't know. If you put a guys know by now. I love Ninja Storm. Favorite season. I think as a Red Ranger. As a character, I prefer Shane. As a Red Ranger, I think it's got to go to Jayden out of those two. Wes versus Jason. Oh, For starters, Jason Fontenos and St. John can both suck a fat one, right? But the characters, and I try not to be too political on this channel, and I try to talk about the characters, not the actors, but just to preface that, out of the characters, I think Wes was more or less mentored by the other Rangers, and Jen specifically. Jason kind of had to go on it, like he had Zordon, but he had to like lead this team with nothing, no prior knowledge of a Ranger, nothing, like, you know, that's more impressive to me. And plus, you know, I know they've got their Chrono Sabers or whatever, Jason with his power sword, this OG power sword, and especially if he's using the Dragon Dagger and getting out the Dragon Shield. Yeah, I think Jason's winning this battle. I'm sorry. Mechanic versus Sky Tate. Oh, I mean, Mick. Trouble is, again, we don't really, other than the comic books, which I'm trying not to delve into, I'm talking about just the show, we see more of Mechanic as a Ranger, but Mechanic is just a Ranger that wears red. Sky is the Red Ranger. It's gonna be Sky. It's gonna be Sky, unfortunately. Zato or Cole. I think Zato as a character is more fully fledged. I mean, like the fact that he was like a knight of Rafcon many years ago, and then obviously led a new team, became the Zenith Ranger, then became a Morphin Master. I think in a fight, but then again, like Cole's scrappy, you know. I think Cole's winning the fight between them, you know. I think he is. And I know we're not talking just about fights, but I'm going Cole Evans. Jason versus Jayden Shiba. Now, I don't know why I did this to myself. As characters, they both have as much to them. The original MMPR Rangers weren't written that well in season 1. Well, they were, but like there wasn't too much to them until later seasons. That's why I love Billy so much. And Jason left through season 1, obviously came back as Zeo Gold. Jayden's got a lot more power to him with his symbol power, especially with the black box Super Samurai mode. I am going to say that the better Red Ranger out of Jason and Jayden is Jayden. I think Mighty Morphin is better than Samurai, but out of those two, that's my call. Oh, I don't know if that's a weight lifted or a weight added. Sky versus Cole. Sky's still the elite, right? I mean, Sky's the guy. He's trained for this since he was a kid. He wanted to look up to his dad, who isn't in this list, by the way, because you can only add 32 without there being issues. So Sky's dad isn't in the list, but he's a bit shit anyway. You know what I mean? He showed up for like a flashback, and he died very early on. So Jayden Shiba versus Sky Tate. Jayden was trained to be a Ranger, but he was always meant to be a Ranger. Sky wanted to be like his dad, and he worked hard, and he was a bit of a douche at the start of SPD, and then he grew, and then by the end of it, he was like, I would follow anyone into battle that you deemed purpose. I mean, in Samurai, when Lauren took over, everybody was a bit like eggy about it, especially they were just sort of like, I mean, whole thing was like, oh, but Jayden, and you know, shut up. I'm going with Sky Tate over Jayden. I'm sorry. But now we move over to the other half of the bracket. We have, why'd you do this? Why'd you test me? Connor from Dino Thunder or Scott from RPM. Dino Thunder, I think, objectively is the best season. I think Scott is a better Red Ranger out of the both of them. Overall, Connor's still a bit douchey. He just is, even by the end of the show. It's not necessarily a bad thing, he's not an awful person, but it's going to Scott. Also, if you like the video and you want more content from Film Foam, we post over on Instagram and TikTok as well. They're both at Film Foam Studios. And feel free to subscribe. We're trying to get to 8,000 subs. We'll see if it happens. Nick versus Amelia. No arguments. Straight away, I know my answer. I love Amelia, honestly. Queen, one of my favorite parts about Cosmic Fury. I did a big retrospective on Cosmic Fury. I'll link it in the description. Check it out if you fancy. But it's Nick. With magic is one thing. Nick with the legendary Mystic Legend mode, and the fact that he becomes his own Mystic Titan, finesses Amelia any day of the week. I'm sorry. Just does. Love her though. Ooh, Andros or the Wolf Warrior. As much as I love the Wolf Warrior, I think it's Andros. But not because I think Andros is better, because I think as a character, Leonbo's very cool. He ended up having to do the sacrifice of Zordon. He took an existing team of Rangers under his wing and was like, listen, I get you guys to the Earth Rangers, you're sick. Space is my territory. It's Andros out of these two. It's gotta be. Rocky DeSantos versus Jack Landers. I'm not a Rocky here. I know some people are. I think he's fine. I think he's cool. I think he grows into his own character by the time he's a Blue Ranger. There is no question. Jack Landers is the elite Red Ranger from SPD, which might be spoiling in the next couple of bits. But not like he steals and gives to the less fortunate. He never had any like race/species issues with the aliens that were living in New Tech City. He wanted to help everybody, and then when he became the Red Ranger, he just took it with pride. And at the start, he was a bit laid back, but he became the Red Ranger. And when the mission was done, when Grum was gone, he was like, sick, I'm done now, FYI. Like, I played my part, I rose to the challenge, but this isn't for me. I want to help people the way I want to help people. Legendary. Rocky, you're a decent geezer. It's Jack. Every day of the week. Conor Grayson versus Eric Myers. Now, very different Red Rangers. One's a sixth that is very much a lone wolf and a bit of an Aggie bastard, let's be real. Conor Grayson is the like leading member of like the operation of Lightspeed Rescue. So they're hard to put themselves up against each other. I think in a fight, Eric would win in a 1v1. I think he'd whoop Carter's ass. I think as a Red Ranger, Carter is probably better because he leads a team as well. Eric doesn't lead a team. He's just got the color red. So I'm going with Carter Grayson. I prefer Eric, but I think overall, that is hilarious that it has automatically grouped them two together. Arguably some of the two worst seasons. Personally, I have a favorite. It is Operation Overdrive out of these two. And again, I don't like to get political. This guy can get on his super mega pirate ship and leave the planet. It's Mac any day of the week. Okay, Tommy, a Zeo Ranger 5 Red versus Lauren Shiba, a Samurai Red. Hot take. I've already done a hot takes video. I'm adding to it. I love Tommy. Okay, that's not a hot take. You know, I love Tommy. I do not care for him as the Red Ranger. Never appealed to me. Don't really like Zeo. Turbo is not good when he's in it. Tommy as the Green Ranger is so special because it was the first time we were introduced to a 6th Ranger. He was evil. He fought the Rangers. Then when he joined the team, he was still kind of like this side character that's like, oh, you really need my help? All right, sick. Well, I'm cool enough that I'm going to jump in now. When he came back as the White Ranger, it was momentous, and he was promoted to leader. It was like, look, this guy is so sick. This guy is so cool. He's such a great Ranger. He's coming back as a slick new White Ranger, and he's going to be the leader of the team. Throughout all of that, he was fine. In Dino Thunder, peak season, best season of Power Rangers, he is the mentor, and he's slowly revealed to the Rangers more about his legacy, and he's like, this has happened to me before, XYZ, like all of this stuff. And then becoming the Black Ranger with gold accents is one of the best suits in the entire show. As the Red Ranger, don't care. I remember nothing from Zeo other than when he became kind of evil again in King for a Day, which wasn't that good anyway. And when he sang randomly with Tanya. Lauren Shiba, second female Red Ranger, was always meant to be the Red Ranger, but she had to be hidden away because she knew she was too powerful and that all the Nylock would have come after her. That's why Jayden got the power. She was meant to be the Samurai Ranger, not Jayden. She's just Tommy. I love him. Jason David Frank. Honestly, if this was a Green Ranger tier list, it'd be a different question. Lauren Shiba wins this battle, without a doubt. All right, we got Brody and we got Casey. Now, I'm picking Casey. I'm not even going to dabble with it. I'm picking Casey. Brody isn't as bad as I remember him being. There's a couple of clips I've seen recently, but he's not awful. But overall, it's a bit lackluster. I mean, Casey becoming a jungle master. I mean, Casey's another situation where he wasn't meant to become the Red Ranger and then becoming a jungle master himself. Incredible. And he came back in Megaforce and he was like one of the only good episodes. Casey, any day of the week. Okay, Nick versus Scott. I think Nick is probably more powerful, magic-wise. As a Red Ranger, I still preferred Scott. But I don't know how fair this is going to be because I prefer Scott, but I feel like Nick should ultimately win. Nah, screw it, I'm going Scott. Fight me. Fight me. Andros versus Jack. It's Jack Landers. Andros is cool. Like I said, he took on another team of Rangers, but there's something about Jack that is so peak that it's gonna be him. Plus, like I said, he was the most selfless. He was like, I'm doing this because I want to help people, not because I help myself. As soon as this is done, I'm going. Like, it's incredible. Carter versus Mac. There are more memorable moments with Mac for me, like him being a robot for starters. Carter, I don't rate Carter on Lightspeed Rescue like some of you guys do, but I do think out of the two of them, Carter's the better Red Ranger. Lauren Shiba versus Casey. That is a question. Let's try and weigh this up. Paishwa Master, Samurai Master, pretty much. I mean, she harnessed an insane amount of power with that black box. But did she end up giving up her powers at the end? I'm not sure. Because also Power Rangers Prime is a thing. I haven't read issue 2 yet, but I know she's been given some lore in that. I know we're not going to... I said I wouldn't bring the comics into it. What do you mean? All right. I'm picking Casey. I'm sorry. He's my guy. I love him. Scott versus Jack. Okay. Scott, you've had a good run. It is time to retire you. Unfortunately, you're being put up against the GOAT of Red Rangers. Love you in that, but it's going to be Jack. Casey versus Carter. Casey any day of the week. Don't even chat to me. Casey versus Jack. These ones are fine because this is a result of a bunch of like decisions I've made and choices I've made to get to this. When they're throwing me curveballs like this to begin with, I hate it. Power-wise, Casey is more powerful than Jack. He just is. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I think Jack is the most selfless Red Ranger we have ever had. Didn't want to be a Ranger. He just wanted to carry on helping people. He then became a Ranger, built upon himself He allowed himself to grow, and then when the job was done, passed on the powers to Sky, along with passing the powers on to Sky when he knew it meant most as well in the Reflections episode, and then he carried on helping people. Casey is incredible, but story-wise like that was a little bit dry. Jack Landers takes the win on that side. And now, the two sides are merging. Clearly, even though my favorite season is Ninja Storm, and I think Dino Thunder is the best season, SPD has taken top ranks here. Jack, obviously, I've just said, peak for his own reasons. Sky is the most coordinated Red Ranger and the most like head-focused Red Ranger, and probably the most worthy might not be the phrase, but like the best fit. Like he is a perfectly sculpted Red Ranger by the end of SPD, and that's why he becomes the Red Ranger. And in the comics, that's why he becomes like the Red Commander, right? This is probably the hardest thing to pick. Because had Jack not retired, Sky would still be blue until the ranks went up, right? And if you think about why Doggy chose them to be Red Rangers at their own time, Doggy clearly waited. Oh, Anubis Kruger, people beefed me for calling him Doggy not long ago. He made Sky blue because he was like, he's not ready yet. And once he's ready, he'll be red. And then that happened. Jack was given red from the get-go. And that wasn't just to spite Sky. That was because he saw something in him, and what he saw was right. I am gonna let you decide. Let me know in the comments below who is the better Red Ranger. Is it Sky Tate or Jack Landers? And I will see you in the next video.